Hi, we have here with us Mr. Ashwani Khillan, Chief Technology Officer with MTS. He was a keynote speaker here at NGPT today in New Delhi, and we are going to ask him some of the network challenges that they are facing. Being a pure play CDMA player in India, what are the challenges that you are facing, the network challenges, please?
So fundamentally, there are two parts to it. One is from a pure technology standpoint. So one is the network gear, that we are using, or network equipment that we use, or standardization that we are able to achieve in a CDMA vis-a-vis GSM or WCDMA. So the movement of the ecosystem in CDMA for these kind of issues that I talked about, like for example roaming or interoperator coordinations and all these things, because the ecosystem is not very strong, like you yourself said, we are the only pure play CDMA player, so that makes us little bit in a challenging situation vis-a-vis, let's say, a GSM or a WCDMA operator, where every second operator or everybody is working towards the development of standardization or development of the way the operators have to coordinate, or the way the operators have to work between each other. So these are some of the challenges on the network side. As far as the other part I talked about is the device. So the same issues are with devices also. The issues that I talked about in the network side, the similar issues on the devices side. There are no much development in the ecosystem as fast as it is happening on a, let's say, GSM or a WCDMA or HSPA plus the domain. Okay. So these are the challenges, but there are benefits also. So as I talked about in my presentation in the this thing, so it is much easier to implement any new technology in a CDMA, this thing, like for example we talked about next generation transport network, rather than doing it on a GSM or a WCDMA, because this technology is if we talk about vis-a-vis GSM, it was kind of invented, or it was kind of standardized much after the GSM. So it's a step ahead of GSM, in that sense. So the clock synchronization part, the native IP on the ABIS interface are some of the very discrete advantages that we are able to derive from this technology also.
Okay. MTS is also the only player, not the only, but one of the few operators who are using microwave for movement towards IP in IP backhaul. So what are the challenges? What made you decide in favor of microwave, and what are the challenges you are facing in this?
No, this is very simple. So there are only two ways you can connect your sites. You have to connect all your sites. There are only two media on which it is feasible. One is fiber and one is microwave. Okay. No doubt fiber is the best media, but there is no doubt about it. But you have to weigh overall the cost and the how much you can spend on a particular technology. So now if we talk about high speed data sites, okay, in a high let's say for example plot place of Delhi, so you will have anyway a site after every 200-300 meters, okay, 400 meters, 500, depending on the frequency you are using. So if you are using, let's say, 2.3 gigahertz LTE or 4G that we are talking about, I'm sure you will have to have a site. If you want to give a ubiquitous coverage, you need to have a site every 100 meters or 200 meters. So now if you connect all your sites on fiber, it's like laying a FTTH fiber. So if you have you have to take a fiber every 100 meters. Why don't you take fiber, because fiber cannot be taken, wireless, it has to be laid all along. So then you can make all the buildings fiber. Which is very costly, which is to us it's kind of impossible for a greenfield operator like us. So we looked at the second alternative, which was microwave. And if you see the way the microwave technology has also moved. So fundamentally, what is microwave? Microwave is also RF. All the advancements that we are seeing on the RF side, from, let's say, for example, GSM to CDMA to WCDMA to HSPA, HSPA plus, LTE, LTE advanced. So all these are radio advancements. So similar radio advancements are also happening on microwave. Okay, so they are not sitting idle. You know, the microwave industry is not sitting idle. The way, you know, this access industry is moving, because the fundamental technology behind both these, you know, the access technology and the microwave is the radio, RF, radio frequency. Okay, the micro, you know, the free path, you know, the transmission of radio waves. Okay, so as much as the movement is happening on that technology side, the access technology, similar, you know, advancements like, you know, I talked about, you know, the modulation, you know, so today you get microwaves where the modulations are, you know, so if there is some kind of fading, the modulation will go down, you know, okay, and you will get degraded speeds at least, you know, earlier it was not there. Okay, so all these ADPCM and all these kind of, you know, developments that are happening in microwave, we find it pretty much, you know, effective to use as a last layer. But we are not discounting fiber. Fiber is very important. So every city has to be connected with fiber. At least, you know, depending upon the site, the size of the city, at least 15-20 nodes in each city you need to connect on fiber. There is no, you know, alternative to this. But you can avoid connecting fiber to, let's say, 800 cities in Delhi or 1000 cities in Bombay or, you know, 2000 cities in 2000 sites in Bangalore. So this can be avoided by using microwave, which will, you know, contain your cost also, which will give you better resilience of the network also, because, you know, the fiber cuts, you know, once it is cut, it will take 4 or 5 hours to connect. There is no magic to this. Okay, so that's how we kind of decided in favor of microwave.
Most of the operators in India are facing backhaul issues. Is that true for MTS also?
Yeah, obviously.
So how are
it's a you know, as I said, you know, the technology is moving very fast on the access side, you know, so GSM, you know, where I still remember, you know, first time I made a data call, this was on 9.6, you know, kbps. Okay, so, you know, and when I it was in year 1997. Okay, when I was in Vodafone Gujarat. Okay, so first time I made a data call, I was so happy, you know, that this. So today we are talking about, you know, from KBs we are just migrating to GBs, which is 10 raised to power 6 times, you know, even more, you know, when we are talking about LTE and all, you know, so. So as you move, you know, so the challenges of access network, you know, are getting back and, you know, getting accumulated on the backhaul, you know. So ultimately, if you are able to give, you know, bandwidth to the consumer, it has to reach to your core network, you know, wherever it is located, you know, whether it is central or it is off central or it is decentralized, you know. So this whole pressure of this superior the access technology is coming on the backhaul, you know, because that is becoming more and more difficult, more and more challenging, and more cost. Okay, but, you know, if you see, there are technologies available like fiber, microwave, and all these things. The key issue is how to do it in the most cost effective way, especially in India, where, you know, there is a lot of competitive pressure, and you all know, you know, so the RPMs and RPUs and all those things. So how best with the least cost and best resilience, you know, so nobody likes the site to be down. Okay, so that's the challenge.